What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new tactics video, and today we've got Xabi Alonso's 3-4-2-1. If you do enjoy the tactics on this channel, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. We're closing in on 9k subs right now. Let's absolutely obliterate it. But let's go in and break down this fantastic 3-4-2-1. So, we're going to kick things off then with his current side, Bayer Leverkusen. The reason why I think a lot of you guys want me to make a tactic is because of how good he has been doing with them, obviously over in Germany. And we have come out and absolutely dominated the division. We've not only won the Bundesliga, we've also taken home the Europa League against RB Salzburg. Unfortunately, not the best display in the Pokal, but it's not really a concern when you're winning the Bundesliga and also winning, obviously, the Europa League. 97 goals scored and 16 conceded. And I have got to quickly look, what the hell has happened to Bayern Munich? Still got the same manager, that's completely fine. Tactics, still got the same team, so I've got no idea. What's Gnabry doing, for example? Didn't have the best season, but overall, no idea what happened to Bayern Munich across this season, but we have come out and taken advantage of it nevertheless, and absolutely dominated. In terms of the actual team stats, we are going to have a quick look. You can see right now, we feature in a lot of them. So we're going to have most points per game at 2.68, most goals at 97, most shots for at 577, fewer shots against at 218, best pass completion at 90%, that is right, 90%, and most possession coming in at 60%. If that isn't enough for you guys, we also have the most clean sheets sitting at 22 and the fewest conceded at 16. So a really positive season. And going over to the data hub, we are going to be seeing 2.85 goals per game, conceded at 0.47. And obviously that incredible, and I mean incredible, pass completion. I think that's the highest we have seen in quite some time. And obviously it's a good replica of how he does play in real life. So really happy with how this has gone, and to be honest, I'm more than happy with the goals conceded. Obviously, it's way under a goal per game, and it's not like 4+ goals or anything crazy per game that we went out and scored, but we did manage to score over 2.5 goals, which I think, for a team that isn't favourites by some shot, is really significant and shows exactly what we can do with this team. And going into the squad, we are going to have a quick look. So it is going to be none other than Patrick Schlick coming in with 67 goals, one of my favourite strikers in FM, to be honest with you. An absolute unit if you play him right. We've also got 32 coming in from Wirtz. Is he ever going to go anywhere or just stay at Leverkusen? I don't know. 19 goals coming in from Adli, and there is a fair bit of a drop-off, so you can see where majority of the goals do come from, as we then do have a quite significant drop-off in terms of goals. In terms of assisters, though, completely different story, because we have several people coming in. Jeremy Frimpong, the man that potentially is coming to Manchester United in real life, coming in with 27 assists. Florian Wirtz with 24, 14 for Adli. Schick coming in with 14. Hudson-Odoi actually having an okay season with 11 as well. 10 for St. Graven. So we're seeing the fullbacks getting involved, and that is so good because obviously the fullbacks are a crucial part of this system. I was mainly relying on Frimpong to carry the load in terms of the assists from the wide areas, and he's obviously ranked 1. So an incredible display from that, and it just shows that the way I made the tactic is working absolutely flawlessly. And we then go over to the powerhouse in Germany. That is going to be the club he previously played for, Bayern Munich. Obviously an incredible team, and as you can see, some incredible results. Whereas in this scenario, Leverkusen actually finished in 5th. So it just shows how good we actually done with Leverkusen. Not only to win the Bundesliga quite significantly, we won the Champions League against Real Madrid, we won the Pokal against Heidenheim, and a German Super Cup against RB Leipzig, making that a quadruple winning season. We scored 86 goals across the season, conceded only 22, 2 red cards, so a couple of red cards come in, but nothing to affect how we performed, obviously, and a really, really good season. In terms of the team stats, we're looking at the most points per game, most goals at 86, quite a few more than Dortmund, to be fair. Most shots for at 600, which is a bit more than obviously we had at Leverkusen. Fewer shots against at 177. Pass completion actually breaks Leverkusen now, which is to be expected. A better midfield, better pass completion, 91%. This is absolutely sensational. Most possession at 62%, and also the fewest conceded at 22. This talks levels of how good this tactic really is. In terms of the data hub, we are going to have a look. We're looking at 2.53 goals per game, a pass completion of 91.31. It's actually scary that's getting towards 91.5. That is utterly incredible. And conceded coming in at 0.65. So the data hub talks levels for exactly what you can expect for this tactic, and trust me, you need to use it. Going over to the actual squad then, we are going to have a very quick look. We're going to be looking at some absolute talent, let's be real, but let's go over it anyway. So it is going to be Sadio Mane coming in with 45 goals, 35 for Thomas Muller, Musiala with 22, 14 for Choupo-Moting, Hernandez with 5, and in terms of the assists, we've got 27 for Alphonso Davies, showing how good the fullbacks actually are. 21 for Kimmich, Muller coming in with 15, 13 for Musiala, Goretzka with 6, 6 for Mane, Cancelo with 6. So actually, the assist a little bit less sort of split up there, like a bit more split up, sorry, should I say. A lot more people getting slightly more assists, but less of them, in terms of the actual sheer amount of players that got involved. But do you know what? The main focus is going to be having at least one of the wing-backs getting tons of assists, and so far we have seen that with 2 saves. So overall, I couldn't be more happier with how this tactic is performing. And let's go over to the third team, which I'm going to be honest, I picked from a random team generator. And yeah, you probably won't see me testing this league again, but we actually went over to Belarus, and we played in the Belarus highest league, which I've never done before. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to win the league. It was a very strange one, though, because we dominated all the stats and lost, not on goal difference, but the head-to-heads, which was a little bit annoying. We were predicted 6th, I think. Probably a league I won't go back to, but it was interesting to test it out. 77 goals scored in the league, only 14 conceded. In terms of the team stats, I say we dominated this. I meant more as in we dominated the goals, you know, the league goals and the goals conceded. But the most goals obviously we come in, and the fewest conceded, and the most clean sheets. They put together quite a display, to be fair. We still had 60% possession and also 84% pass completion, but obviously this league is a completely different ball game, so probably won't be coming back here. Do let me know, though, has anyone got a Belarus save going on? Belarus save? Because I've never heard of it, but it would be interesting to find out. In terms of the actual data hub, then, we're going to be looking at 2.57 goals per game, conceded at 0.47, so still, those two stat lines pretty relatively similar to the other leagues. Obviously, the pass completion, nowhere near as good, and I can't really explain why, because Bayer Leverkusen aren't a favourite either, and we still had really incredible stats there, so that's an interesting one. I'm not going to talk about the squad, because, to be honest, I don't know many of the players, and I'm afraid I'm going to butcher the names, but let's go ahead right now and break down the tactic. I was going to quickly say though, guys, before we do break down the tactic, if you are enjoying today's video, please do smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps massively and supports me, so it helps the videos get found and much more. And also leave some comments right now below on managers you might have requested before. I might have forgot, so please comment again, because I am doing my best to fulfill every request possible. But let's go ahead and talk tactics. So let's break down this tactic, and I do want to quickly say you can download all 3 variants and get early release if you're a Patreon member. You can sign up in the link below, and I want to thank all of the names floating down the screen right now, because you guys make the difference. It means an absolute ton. Now, you don't have to be one. You can copy click for click, as I always will provide this service as well. But let's go ahead and talk about the tactics. So it is going to be a vertical tiki-taka style, a positive mentality. In possession, we've got fairly wide, overlap left and right with focus play through the middle. Basically, overlaps are really crucial, guys, with this, so I wouldn't recommend taking them off, because the fullbacks are literally your width. They're the reason why you're going to get assists from the wide areas, and you've seen how well it does work. Much shorter passing directness, by the way, play out of defence as well. Much shorter passing directness, a slightly lower tempo, so it's not going to be too demanding on your players either. Whipped crosses and also be more expressive. Now, what I like about this system is you focus play through the middle, so you are going to dominate the ball a lot. But with the overlap and fullbacks, there's always going to be options out wide. They always are really aggressive, almost too aggressive, but it works. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to complain. And they do act like wingers, they really do. In transition, we've got counter press and counter. We've distribute to the centre backs. We take short goal kicks. Obviously, the reason we're not going to distribute to the fullbacks is because they are so far pushed up, and it might cause some issues, you know. And out of possession, we have got the high defensive line, the high press line of engagement, much more often, and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. So the high line comes in. The standard just isn't the go-to from kickoff. If you're defending a game, we might switch to that, as you're going to see. But definitely to go into a season and play consistently, you want to have the high defensive line. This is a tactic, by the way, which I absolutely thumped PSG with 8-1 over 2 legs in the Champions League, as Musiala cuts it back into Thomas Muller, into the bottom right corner. And what I love about this tactic is the sheer amount of chances you create per game. It's absolutely incredible. The amount of variety as well, as De Ligt plays it to Alfonso Davies, who hits it long into Sadio Mane, who is absolutely tearing apart this PSG back line right now. And you'll see it happen time and time again, enjoying a really good season under my management here, as Musiala flicks over into Thomas Muller. Don't know who that was sleeping, but again, it's a bit of shocking defender as Mane picks up the scraps into the top right corner. A sensational finish, that being his second of the game already in 28 minutes. We build up again here with De Ligt. out wide into João Cancelo, into Thomas Muller, a bit more direct here, over the top, into Musiala, into Sadio Mane, and if that's not a beautiful goal, I don't know what is, because we use the wide areas, a little bit more direct to come into the central area, a little flick on from Musiala, and a beautiful finish. We've got to say, by the way, how involved has this centre-back been from the build-up play? De Ligt has been involved in, I think, pretty much every goal, getting the pass into the sort of their midfield, into the heart of their midfield, where we can then build up. Obviously, Sané with the ball here. Look at the space. I mean, look at the space here. Davies making an incredible run, being the overlap. Sadio Mane could literally play him through here. Cancelo's in tons of space as well. It's a really good picture to describe this to you guys. And Musiala picks it up. He actually chooses Sadio Mane here, who goes alone. I mean, the guy's on absolute fire. An incredible finish. And God knows how many this guy actually got in this game. Absolute display from him. Cancelo again just thumping it long into the overlap and Alonso Davies, who plays a wonderful through into Sadio Mane, who goes through again, and Donnarumma simply can't stop this guy. He simply cannot save a shot. And that probably is because of the sheer quality of the shots. I'm not giving any disrespect to Donnarumma there, as we do finish the game off. That was, what, 7-0 and 8-1 overall on aggregate against a full-strength PSG side. Going over to the player roles then, we're going to have a sweeper keeper on support on the default instruction, a ball-playing defender on defend on the right on stay wider, a central defender on defend on mark tighter, and on the left-hand side, a ball-playing defender on stay wider on defend as well. So fairly basic instructions, but they get the job done. We then go over to the wing-back on the left on attack, and he is going to be told to cross more often, aim the cross at the centre, stay wider and tackle harder. And on the right-hand side, it is exactly the same. So only copy one of them, literally exactly the same. So nothing too extraordinary there. Going over to the midfield, we've got a deep lying playmaker on defend, on tackle harder. We want a bit of aggression in the midfield, so that's probably where a few of the bookings come in. You could get rid of it, but honestly, I quite like it. It's aggressive. They do win the ball back majority of the time. Obviously, there's always that risk they're going to get a booking, but it's not the end of the world. It didn't really affect our results. Going next to him, a centre mid on support with a fair few instructions. Pass it shorter, obviously for the possession and the pass completion. Take fewer risks, get further forwards, and also move into channels. And then two shadow strikers. One of them on attack on pass it shorter, and the other one on exactly the same shadow striker attack on pass it shorter. And to finish off this absolute masterpiece, an advanced forward on attack on pass it shorter and shoot more often. And that is going to be the Xabi Alonso tactic broken down. That is a default version. We are, of course, now going to talk about the attacking and the defensive variant, so let's go ahead and do that. So, the attacking variant, as you can see, has got a few changes. The back line stays the same. We actually opt for a deep line playmaker, but we have him on support on this occasion, simply on tackle harder. Just push him up a little bit to the supportive role. Then have a centre mid on attack, on pass it shorter, still on take fewer risks, and also move into channels, just to push him up a little bit more into that team. We didn't change anything about the front line because it already is quite attacking. The mentality stays the same because attacking in this would literally be a death trap. It just wouldn't be a good idea. In possession, as you can see, we've actually revved the tempo all the way up. We've still got, obviously, the be more expressive on, and we've kept everything exactly the same. In transition, we've simply told them to distribute it quickly, get it up the field, get things moving, you know. No time wasting. Just hurry up, get the ball up the field. And out of possession, we've kept it exactly the same because I'm going to say, if you are desperately after a goal, you could go with a much higher line, but I would not recommend going into games like this because it's incredibly intense, and at any moment a ball can get played over the top. A higher line's quite manageable. We didn't get caught out too often, but a higher line, or a much higher line, sorry, is only something you should ever consider if you are desperate for a goal. And going over to the defensive, a little memory refresher. This is a default version. On the defensive variant, bang, here we go. So it is going to be the first change. An advanced playmaker coming in on support, just a little bit lower than a shadow striker, on pass it shorter and dribble less. Simply just be calm on the ball, pass the ball around, nothing too fancy. Then have a ball winning midfielder on the left hand side on defend, on pass it shorter and also mark tighter. And on the right hand side, a deep line playmaker on defend again, this time on tackle harder. Two wing backs coming in. Exactly the same instructions, but as you can see, they are going to be dropped to support, just so they're not as aggressive going forwards, and it's not as much of a commitment. Because at the end of the day, this is to sort of seal out a game. Now, you could use this going into games as well, and there are a couple of things which we would advise taking off if you are going to do that, which we are going to talk about as well. But in positive mentality, again, in possession, we have actually gone with time wasting frequently. Now, as I want to say, if you're going into a game with this, don't time waste from the get-go. It does not help you out in the long run. But if you are defending the game out, have this on. In transition, again, we've got slow pace down. Nothing selected here because we don't really want to counter and we don't really want to hold the shape. Just be sort of yourselves. Just pass the ball about, nothing too frantic, nothing too special, so we've simply unticked it. And slow pace down. Again, if you're going into a game with this tactic, I wouldn't have it on because you don't really want to slow the pace down at 0-0 unless you really want to play for a point for some reason. And out of possession, we've actually opted for the standard line a little bit deeper just to defend these games out and not be as aggressive going forwards. And that is going to be 3 variants of the Xabi Alonso 3-4-2-1 tactic broken down, which is having such a good time at Leverkusen with. If you have enjoyed today's video, smash the like button, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications. And as always, guys, I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.